Now, listen to the untold truth about the presidential transition as expressed in a letter written by Emily Murphy, the Administrator of the General Services Administration on November 23, 2020.
So, were Biden transition resources approved? On November 23rd, the U.S. General Services Administration informed Biden that it had approved certain transition resources for him. In the letter, Administrator Emily Murphy said she made the decision independently and based on the law and available facts. In her letter, Murphy said, "Dear Mr. Biden, as the Administrator of the U.S. General Services Administration, I have the ability under the Presidential Transition Act of 1963, as amended, to make certain post-election resources and services available to assist in the presidential transition. Please know that I came to my decision independently based on the law and available facts." She said, "I was never directly or indirectly pressured by any executive branch official, including those who work at the White House or GSA, with regard to the substance or timing of my decision. To be clear, I did not receive any direction to delay my determination." Murphy does not address President Biden, but rather Mr. Biden. The wording already indicates that she does not identify Biden as president, nor does the letter itself intend to acknowledge Biden as president-elect. But now Murphy has received death threats. So why did Murphy write to Biden about transition resources? The story behind it is shocking. Murphy said in her letter that I did, however, receive threats online, by phone, and by mail, directed at my safety, my family, my staff, and even my pets, in an effort to coerce me into making this determination prematurely. Even in the face of thousands of threats, I always remained committed to upholding the law. People have made threats against her and her family, as well as her employees and even her pets. And these threats were not made once, not twice, not 8 times, not 10 times, but thousands of threats, threatening her to make a quick decision and transition resources to Biden. So who is doing this behind the scenes? Everyone should know this by now. In fact, CNN reported on November 19th that 47-year-old Murphy was under increasing pressure, even facing death threats and a difficult position. Murphy's friends and former co-workers told CNN she absolutely feels like she's in a hard place. She's afraid on multiple levels. It is a terrible situation. But Murphy said she was committed to upholding the law in the face of thousands of threats. I strongly believe that the statute requires that the GSA administrator ascertain, not impose, the apparent president-elect. Murphy said, contrary to media reports and insinuations, my decision was not made out of fear or favoritism. Instead, I strongly believe that the statute requires that the GSA administrator ascertain, not impose, the apparent president-elect. The implication of this statement is that these are issues that the Constitution, federal laws, and state laws leave to the election certification process and decisions by courts of competent jurisdiction. And it is not up to the GSA to decide the post-election certification of the president-elect. Murphy's statement is also a slap in the face of the leftist media and Biden's team. So remember, President Trump did say, "We will win." In my perception of Murphy's letter, she is not compromising with Biden, but rather expressing a kind of protest. It looks that she is telling Biden that the transition resources are ready, but in fact, she is exposing the shameless threats from Biden's team. This is a special strategy which can be called a needle in the haystack, a soft touch with a hard edge. This is why I say that Biden is claiming to be the president-elect, since the GSA did not recognize him as such, which will only be certified according to American laws. Please be clear, Trump's team did not concede. In response to Murphy's letter, Trump tweeted his gratitude for Murphy's steadfast dedication and loyalty to our country. Trump also expressed his understanding and support to Murphy. President Trump tweeted, "She has been harassed, threatened, and abused, and I do not want to see this happen to her, her family, or employees of GSA." Trump also expressed his determination for legal battles. He said, "Fight, and I believe we will prevail. Nevertheless, in the best interest of our country, I am recommending that Emily and her team do what needs to be done with regard to initial protocols, and I have told my team to do the same." A netizen asked me in an email, "Does that mean Trump conceded?" No, he did not concede. He might already have a victory in his hands.